I'm gonna try to get to the 8 at least once a month. Literally. Trey, what's up? I am Delafaye Music, YB Music, 12 management artist. Um, Raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. Moved to Chicago for about 12 years. I'm still stationed in the shop. Man, a little bit about me is, I was raised on the east side of Indianapolis, over in Brightwood area. Man, I got music early. My mother, she sang in a band. My grandfather, he played the bass. Rest in peace to my grandfather. Man, they used to play in this little garage. It was white in the back. They used to rehearse all the time, and I used to sit back there and just be listening. And at the time, like, my grandfather was like one of the biggest bootleggers in Indianapolis. So on Sunday, it used to be dry in Indiana. So, they'll knock on the window, come get they little fix. And they back there rehearsing, So, I don't think my mother ever paid attention. I say it all the time that I was paying attention to her, So I always just saw her singing. Her best friend was her background singer. So, eventually I got, more and more passionate about music as I got older. And seeing my mom in that type of element, just kind of made me more creative. So I started, which is crazy, I started writing raps. So I grew up in a real religious household, so my parents didn't play that. They didn't play none of that. So I used to write these raps, and my mom used to come in my room, and she used to always find them. She used to find them all, every single time. I don't care where I hide them, she'll find them. And eventually she, approached me about it, and I kept doing it, and she used to beat me down. She used to beat me down about it. So I got tired of getting beat down, so I was like, okay, let me channel this energy elsewhere. So I started writing poems, and I used to bring them to my mom, and, she would, it was way better than the raps that I was writing, because them raps was raunchy. But, she was like, okay, I could deal with this, and eventually my poems started turning into songs. And I remember the first song I ever wrote, it was called My Best Friend. And I sang it to my mom. She was like, wow, And as I got a little older, my mom was always like, I knew you could always sing. She said, like, they was walking around this track, because I used to go to Short Ridge Middle School, and it was a track in the back. And one day she was just playing the music. She used to work out, and the music was playing, and I just started singing, and I was young. She said she knew then that, I definitely was going to be into music, So eventually, like I said, once I started channeling it into music, I started singing, and I started picking up singing heavily, not really doing too much, rapping anymore, but I used to just do the singing, and that's kind of what I ran with. I hooked up with some producers in Indianapolis. His name was Boss Beezy. We used to actually date, I do not suggest artists to date producers, but but it was dope, because we had a dope chemistry, and I honestly, I'll give it to him. He actually helped me develop a lot of my sound, a lot of the creativity that I had. He was real creative, so that was the element I was in. It allowed me to express myself, so I'm glad that I was able to get that from him. Eventually hooked up with a label, got in tune with some people. Man, shout out Jimmy Mack. He's one of the artists in Indianapolis that was hitting heavy at the time, like making a lot of noise, and he had introduced me to some people, and we got linked up. I ended up signing with the company, and they flew me out to Atlanta. I was actually writing for some artists, American Idol artists, actually. Stephanie Edwards. I was writing for a YouTube sensation called, her name was Erica. So at the time, I was just writing. I was a writer. I didn't know I was a writer, but I was more so, my heart was set on being an artist, but my pen, they wanted my pen. So I stayed out there. I was working with a producer named Dana, and we used to just sit there for hours and just come up with concepts. And that was all we did. That was all we did till eventually it wasn't, didn't work out as planned. So Came back to Chicago. I ended up moving back to Chicago, moving in with my aunt. And eventually, as time went on, I just started singing in like open mics and karaoke's. And somebody saw me and was like, "Man, we want you to come rock with us." I met up with Mr. E. He actually is the DVD man in Chicago. A lot of people don't know Mr. E used to make beats. He was cold. So, we hooked up and we did a lot of music together. Ended up meeting my manager that way too. I started working with Tamika. She's my manager, like solid 10 years. Like that's everything to me. I always have my best interests at heart. A go-getter like me, don't take no for an answer. And we just been going at it since then. And here I am now, YBE Music. I hooked up with Trey G. He's Young Black Executives, and we kind of just mashed everything together, and we just making it happen.
You breathe, boy, when will you see that I can love you better? I can love you better than her. I can love you better. I can love you better than she.
So I've been doing this for like 12 years. It's been 12 years that I've been in this, and just kind of just make things happen. Just not giving up. This is my passion. This isn't a hobby for me. This is like a career takes time. A career takes time, and this is something that I really want to do and I want to build and have longevity in. Some of the people that I work with, like I said, I worked with Jimmy Mack in Indianapolis. I've worked with Bees in Chicago, Coast Steel. There's just a couple people in Chicago that I've worked with. I've recently also worked with, like I said, Stephanie Edwards. She was the top 12 finalist on American Idol. Another artist, Erica, she was a real big YouTube sensation. I've also worked with Slick. He's actually one of the band players for Tony. So I did a record with him. So I got to do some work with him. I'm working with some artists that are in Cali right now. So like I said, it's mostly writing. I do a lot of writing. Let's see, the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. It was crazy because it really showed how much my family really, supported what I did. Is we was having a show in Indianapolis at a club called Cloud 9. And Slim from 112 was there. This was back when I was actually signed to, the other label. And, I was told that I would be opening for Slim. This is my first opening. So it's like, man, I was excited, So I get to the club and they like, we don't know nothing about Delafaye performing. I'm like, oh. And I'm heartbroken. At this time, I'm young, I'm fresh into the game. So, it kind of hurt my feelings. I kind of shed a little tear. I got all my family here. It's a lot of us. And, my auntie, listen, my family, I don't talk about them much, but trust and believe, they definitely gonna look out. She approached Slim herself, just got past security. I don't know how she got up there, but she's like, hey, Slim, let me holler at you. My niece, we here to see her perform. And, Slim was a cool dude. So shout out to Slim. He probably don't never remember that, but man, it was years ago. Like when I say years, like over 10, 12 years ago. And he was cool about it. He let me go ahead and get on stage, so I appreciate Slim, for real. What I hate about the industry. Woo, so many things. What I hate about the industry is that it's kind of like a mold that they want everybody to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like an already preset mold that you have to look like, that you have to sound like, that who you have to be like, And I'm completely the opposite, which is, mainly the reason why I've come to grips like, hey, I may not get on as quickly as everybody else if I'm against the grain. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being myself. I'm okay with expressing who I am. I'm okay dressing the way that I dress. One thing I know, can't nobody be me better than I can be myself. There can be a lot of Beyoncés. There can be a lot of Sierras, you know what I'm saying? But there can, if you looking to strive to be that way, but I'm not striving to be like anybody else. I just want to do music the way that I want to do it on my terms and, express myself freely. So that's extremely important to me, which is, one of the reasons why I love my team. Shout out to YBE 12 Management. They let me be me. They let me be me, and it's just, definitely a huge level of respect. They know how much I love this, and I also respect their visions as well. So, it just works well. Promoters. Let's talk about promoters. Woo, woo, woo. It's a good and bad. You got to take the good with the bad, because promoters, they are a very important part of your success. They're a very important part of your success, but they can also be the downfall of your success as well. Like I done been to shows where nothing is in order. Nothing's in order. There's no communication. There's nothing. It's just kind of all over the place. I've been to shows and won competitions and was promised I would be given something and wasn't given it. And, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. A lot of promoters just do it for, the money only. And I mean, of course, the bag is always the motive. But, when it's at the expense of other artists to where, you're not valuing the people that's putting the money in your pocket. Because without the artist, what do? You don't do anything. So you gotta take care of the artists at the end of the day. And I think that's the biggest thing is that, promoters, a lot of promoters are janky, period, across the board. We just gonna keep it at that. What separates me as an artist? What separates me as an artist is that this really flows through my veins. This is not something that I wake up in the morning and feel like it's work. Like, I really enjoy what I do. I enjoy going to the studio. I enjoy taking time to write a song. Like, this is something that I really, really enjoy doing. And just my drive, my passion. Like, I don't like the word no. That's just it in a nutshell. Like, I feel like so many people have done so many things in this world. There's so many barriers that have been broken. There's no such thing as the word no. It's just how bad do you want it? How bad do you really want to get it? Are you willing to spend 5, 6, 7 years to get it until you get it? Yes, because like the law of statistics, law of physics is you keep hitting something on the head. Eventually, it's gonna happen. So you just gotta stay positive and don't never really let anything come in your way. I don't care if it's family, friends, or whoever. Do what you're gonna do. You only get one life to live, so you gotta live it to the fullest. So make your mark. That's how I feel. Why I'm in Atlanta? I'm here because Atlanta, y'all got it cracking out here. This is where I really, really need to be. I've been in Atlanta quite a few times. I've done a couple shows in the A, and I just feel like it's just time for me to start popping up out here a little more. And so we in town for a show at the Cosmopolitan. We got a VMMG. They coming out to perform. That's extended family of YBE Music. So we just coming to show some love, coming to perform. Show the people who I am. So the message that I want to share with people. Let's see. I kind of expressed it earlier, man. You got to go for it. You can't fail if you try it. Like, that's how I feel about it. You fail if you don't try. And it doesn't matter how many times it takes, just know eventually you're going to hit it. Eventually, whatever you're trying to do in life, it's going to happen. It just may not come tomorrow, may not come the day after. But again, it's how hungry are you? Are you willing to eat ramen noodles for a couple days to go get your studio time? Are you willing not to get your nails done because you got to shoot a video? You're going to go put on some Walgreens press-ons in your video. It just, you know what I'm saying? Is these are the things that define you as, you know, not even just an artist, but as a person. You know how persistent you are. And my level of persistence is 12 years. I put in my work and still putting in work and still learning every day. The current single that I'm working on is, well, not that I'm working on, but the current single that's released is called I Said What I Said. So this particular track is, it's a mixture of I feel some type of way, but I see you. It's cool. You know, I had a concept that was kind of stripped from me. You know, I had a song called Hear That Shit. And, you know, about a couple weeks later, I hear a song from an artist, Asian Down, called None of That Shit. You know, so at first I said, okay, might be a coincidence. You know, let me not really jump to conclusions. So I started listening to the song, and Lord behold, you know, not a word for word, tick for tack type of song, just a concept, you know. And if you're a writer, you're an artist, let me take artists out the equation. If you're a writer, because a writer knows their work. If you are a writer, you know, when somebody has, let's say they've gotten inspiration. We're going to call it inspiration, you know, from something you've done. So I took, you know, how I felt about the situation, because, you know, I was pissed. You know, I was pissed. But that's the game. And when you know the game, you just have to move a little differently. So I took that and I channeled it into creativity. And I took the track that I felt my concept, you know, was on, and I remade it and made a remix. You know, that's just the art of the game. So, you know, I just turned it into art. I turned that frustration or that anger into art. And so it's called I Said What I Said. But definitely check out, you know, Hear That Shit. That's one of my singles that I dropped. Dope video, man. Shout out to Ill Will Brown. He's a dope producer in Chicago, man. He definitely brought my vision to life. I had Farillo from Gold Media. He came out to shoot the video like it. I wanted the movie feel, and he definitely gave that to me. He also shot Better. Like, these songs are all kind of back to back. That's my R&B. So I never set R&B down. It's always gonna be there. It's never gonna go away. So I put out an R&B joint called Better. It was directed by that girl Olivia. She's on, you know, Power 92, 106.3 in Chicago. Shout out to Shy Blizz, man. They always showing love, always playing the record. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, who I want to work with? Definitely, I'm gonna say probably the number one person that I want to work with is K Camp. I love K Camp. Like, his whole vibe, his music. I really rock with his music. That whole hip hop, R&B. I'm always a mixture. I love the mixture of the two, not just hip hop, not just R&B. I love, you know, artists that's able to intertwine them and make it work. I love St. John. You know, I've been listening to him heavily. You know, a real big fan of St. John. Of course, Drake. You know, definitely love me some Drake. Who don't love Drake? Who else? Young Blue, man, he got this song that's out. You know, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't really remember it, but the name of it. But it's so dope, man. And I kind of looked at him, and, you know, as an artist, and been listening to a lot of his music too. He's super, super dope. So definitely would like to work with Young Blue. Definitely. So you can find me at Delafaye Music. That's Delafaye Music, DELAFAYE Music. You can find me on all platforms, man. You can go to my website, delafaymusic.com. I got a Pinterest, whatever y'all want, I'm there. I like decorating shit. But yeah, man, you know, come rock with me. Only thing I can say is, you know, I just love what I do. That's it. I love what I do. I like to see people's reaction. I like to see people how they relate to my music. I like when people give me that feedback, like, man, this made me think of this, or this time. Like, everybody's life and journeys are different. So, you know, my music touching somebody that has a different journey, or, you know, have something going on different in life, to me, it's a blessing that I'm able to touch people like that. So that's really dope.
You want to give a shout out to your company?
Shout out to 12 Management. Follow us on IG, Facebook, www.12management.com. Look us up. Y'all know Delafaye Music, DELAFAYEMUSIC. Man, I'm coming. Hope you waiting on me.